As of today's recording, March 6th, 2025, I am just outside of Denver, Colorado, in a place called Lyman, Colorado. I'm at a supercharger here, charging up my Tesla, and I'm trying to get to a location north of Las Vegas. Actually, it's north of Pahrump, but I can't. For some reason, there is no superchargers that will get me to the location, Pahrump, and then back to Las Vegas where the superchargers are. So I use a third-party app called PlugShare, and I've just been trying to figure out if there's even a way to make this happen. It's near Alamo, Nevada, and if I actually go looking and scrolling on Alamo, Nevada, there is nothing there. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it to that destination or not. That's what it boils down to. And then I could do it, but then it would require me to stay at a campground and plug the car into an RV outlet, which is not a problem, but then that will delay my trip by one day, which will make me late getting to Phoenix on Sunday to pick up Christy. This is sometimes dilemmas you come across when driving an electric car, especially in remote locations out in the desert. I mean, Tesla just doesn't see a reason why people should probably be spending that much time in the northern desert. Economical, whatever the case may be, there's just no chargers. But I'm gonna do a little more research and see what I can find out. So I took a quick break here. I have not purchased coffee this whole trip, but I wanted a latte. So I stopped at Starbucks here in the mountains of Colorado, got me a latte. I'll pour it in my mug so it stays hot. My cup that I'm using must be a venti because it only filled it up about 3/4 of the way. That is refreshing, delicious, and yummy. So here's what I'm up against. For some reason, it wouldn't allow me to stop and charge at these other locations. So now it wants to push me to my next charging location, and it's going to put me there at 6%. Now, I'm not always comfortable with that, but I don't have much choice. Destination after 12, almost 21 hours of driving. So I'm calling it a night. Beautiful morning in the Las Vegas desert. Hey everyone, welcome to to another adventure. Mile marker reason here, coming to you from Pahrump, Nevada. I've been here before. We were here last summer with Christy, but I didn't get to really document it. So I just wanted to come out here and kind of show you guys where Art Bell's studio was and where it's at now. So that's what we're going to look at right now. Everything's posted, no trespassing. So actually one of the last pictures that we saw of Art Bell, which I'll put right here for you guys to take a look at, was he was flying a drone. That was kind of new technology back then, you know, when he passed away. Relatively new, but yeah, he was flying a drone, took a picture of himself in that drone, and that's the last picture he had before he had passed away. So high desert, this is the high desert, the Kingdom of Nye, as he would always say. I would listen to Art Bell for hours when I was working to pass time. I worked security at the time. It could be boring at times. So to pass the time, I would listen to AM radio, because where I was at, that was the only thing that really worked. So I was flipping through the channels one night and I found Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM.
Line, you're on the air. Hello. Hello, Art.
Talked about everything from UFOs to angels to Bigfoot, just anything that was unexplainable he would have on his show. Wealth of information. He had his own little quirks about him and things that he believed in, but he always came delivering a very, very interesting show. So I have a lot of memories. I actually still listen to replays. What I was playing here in the beginning of the video was actually a replay of one of the shows that I listened to. And since I'm here in Nevada, I thought, hey, I'm going to drive up to Pahrump and I want to document this, because something that will stand forever in time. We stopped here in Pahrump June of last year. Christy brought me, we were going to Tucson for my birthday, brought me out here just so I could see, you know, where Art Bell lived. I'd always wanted to. Never thought I'd ever get to. You know, back in those days, whenever I was working the 9-to-5 job, I thought there's just no way I'll ever be able to accumulate enough money to go spend time traveling to see all these things that I want to see, people I want to go see, you know, just the different areas of the US that I want to go see. I just never thought I'd ever get to do it, and here I stand doing it. You know, if you do any amount of research on Art Bell, you'll see that it was tough for him. He was working on reporting things that I don't know that necessarily was of popular belief. Did a lot of conspiracy theories. I think a lot of it he knew about. He was right on about something. Some things were a little far-fetched. He'd have all kind of crazy guests on, but he had to be hitting onto something at some point, because towards the end of his career, federal government, CIA, whoever the agency was really making his life horrible, to a point where he actually had to leave the country for a couple years, went back to the Philippines with his wife, because he just didn't want to jeopardize the safety of his wife or his child. So they left. And then when he came back, there was all kinds of allegations against him. I don't know if they're true or not true. I can just know that when you're in the space of conspiracy and, you know, trying to figure out exactly the truth behind what governments are doing, then sometimes you paint a target on your back. So I think that's the majority of this case here. This is my personal opinion. I never knew him personally. I just know some of the stuff that he was involved with could have really have brought some, could made him a high profile for, you know, obviously the things that nobody wanted him to talk about. The bus is stopping to let children off here in the Kingdom of Nye. You know, another famous place that a lot of people come is Art Bell's grave, actually. So Art Bell, he was born June 17th, 1945. So my birthday was just a few days before his, and he died April 13th, 2018. Talk show host, father, and friend in the night, whose voice shall be with us for all time. And he did, he had that very unique voice. But see, some of the people have left like a little alien, because he talked a lot about UFOs and aliens. Coins, people left coins. Like there's some kind of a foreign bill there, little alien. And then his wife, Ramon Lee, she passed away in 2006. So his current wife, I don't know where she'll be buried, maybe beside him, but You can see here, some people left some coins, a little card. Might put some real flowers on there. On top of the grave, people left some coins, a little pen. Rocks. Really cool. It's tough. Good thing is though, is that he got buried in a very beautiful place. Got all those mountains back there. Beautiful mountains. You know, it was Art Bell that really got me interested into radio. I really thought at some point that I would probably do some sort of radio. And then just as time went by, I realized that, you know, I like the idea of doing content. Content was something that was always important to me. I just wasn't sure the content that I wanted to do. So I can remember back in probably 2004, 2003, 2004. This is right before podcasting came out. What I used to do is I would actually record content, upload it or convert it to MP3. It's back when we had a real player, and you would have to convert that file, upload it to a website, which you weren't really allowed to do back then because it was considered data, and they didn't want you to, you know, use too much bandwidth. It was back when the internet was kind of still new, unstable. It was all dial-up and it was unstable. So what happened was you would upload it, and then you could share a website with somebody, which I had a web page, and then I could go to that web page, click on the media that they were interested in, and listen to it. Now, that's before RSS feeds came out and podcasting became a big thing. And I had done probably a dozen episodes, and that's when I thought, you know, I kind of like this. So I went to a friend of mine, and I kind of kept it secret with my people, you know, with my friends and inner circle. I then took it to her and said, hey, take a look at this and see what you think. And that night she messaged me and said, yeah, that will never fly. This will never go nowhere. This is stupid. Nobody's going to go to a website or listen to somebody talk on the internet. And I gave it up. I quit because of that comment. I don't know why. I did. Maybe it was just the wrong time, whatever. But that was actually the beginnings of what a podcast was. And look where we are today with podcasts. So it was very interesting, computers and doing those types of things. That was my first. I thought then, you know what I'll do is I will do some other content. So I got this is back when the VHS tapes were real big. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take my mom's VHS recorder, and I probably have done this since a very young age, and I would take her recorder and then I would record stuff. Like I would drive around and look for, you know, just different infractions. Like, for example, where my grandma lived, there was a huge dump. So I can remember going there and recording that dump, and I was going to turn it into somebody or just report it to somebody, whether it was just the internet or if it was the authorities. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I was going to report that. So anyway, yeah, I would go around and look for things to record and document, and I did that probably for a long time in my life, at least 7 or 8 years, and then I just never did anything with it. And I don't even know to this day where any of that stuff is, but I enjoy content creation all the way back then. So all that to say is I think it's important to document our lives, and then I think it's even more important to have those videos of your lives, because you never know, you know, what's going to interest your children in doing something, what's going to interest you in doing something unless you try it. If I had never really got a hold of some of Art Bell's stuff, I wouldn't have known what my interests were. So same with all kind of radio. You know, this goes back years from when I was young. There was just certain things I had interest in, and then I would go pursue it and determine, is this something I want to do long term, short term? But I think the key here is when you're giving advice to somebody, don't ever shoot them out of the water like my friend did. Oh, they'll never go nowhere, because that stalled me by years. And today, I love content creation. I like filming these videos. I like doing podcasting. I like consuming content both on YouTube and podcasts. It's my preferred way. I would much rather watch YouTubers than watch some movies today. But all that to say, you never know. You never know where life's going to take you, what adventures you'll be on. That's right, guys. While traveling through Henderson, Kentucky here, I thought I would stop real quick and just get a video of the Simpsons home. So I don't know a whole lot about it. I can just tell you that they had done that for a publicity stunt to try to get some people that were interested in the show, I guess. Anyway, they had watched like over 100 episodes of The Simpsons, and the contractors did try to get it exactly the way it was in the show. So the outside, the inside, everything about it is accurate. It was when it was built. Now, I don't know if it's been changed since then, but I thought that was cool. I remember The Simpsons as I was growing up, and it was a cartoon that we watched often. You know, I don't know the vulgarity of it. I don't remember any of that stuff growing up, really. I'd have to watch it as an adult to know that. But, I mean, that was just a part of our childhood that we grew up there watching that series. So I just thought while I was here, on my way through Vegas and Henderson, that I would stop and document that, because we don't know how long that house will be there or continue to look the way it looks. So it was fun. Lots of new construction happening here on the outskirts of Vegas. Over yonder there is the Sunset Station. We stayed there years ago with the kids when they were little. It's very surreal for me driving through the desert. Something I've always enjoyed. To see rows and rows of solar panels. If we look here at the GPS, we can actually see all the solar panels on the GPS. Lake Mead, the famous Lake Mead. Driving by Lake Mead. Several years ago, we actually did a tour, a helicopter tour of Lake Mead, and it was very interesting. But what we discovered was during that tour, our kids were little, they were small, and Port actually was so upset, he was scared and cried the whole time. We had no idea that he was crying. Just the captain of the helicopter, the pilot rather, just did a good job of keeping it entertained up there. He sat in the front seat, and then the three of us all sat in the back seat. But yeah, interesting little fact. Brought back some memories driving through this desert again. Well, guys, that's it for today. It's been a long day. I still have a 7-hour trip to get to my final destination. But until next time, like, subscribe, create a comment, and in the comments, tell me your favorite host for talk show, if you have one. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, vlog over.